What up, IT creators? My name is Maestro Stevens with Iconic Templates. And in this video, I want to share with you all one of the biggest key assets to your idea or your business that you may be missing, and it could be the difference between success and failure. What I am talking about is your business model, and particularly the business model canvas, which is a tool used when you are developing your business model. Now, if you've never heard of the business model canvas, that's okay. That's what this video is for. But for those of y'all who need a refresher, this is going to give you another look or perspective of what your business model is and how it can be used. So let's just start from the beginning. The way that I see a business model is a home or a house. And what did Luther say? A house is not a home, right? And so that's why I had Gemini create a blueprint or a floor plan of a home. And in this floor plan, we have a living room, a bedroom, we have a bathroom, another bathroom, a bedroom, a master bathroom, so forth and so on. You get the picture, right? Literally and figuratively. And this should feel very similar or should look similar to your business model. So let's go back here. Isn't this interesting that we have these different sections of our business? And that's what these are. Each one of these areas is a section of your business. And so we have key partners, key activities, the key resources. Then we have your cost structure and your revenue streams. We have your value proposition. We have your customer relationships, your channels, and your customer segments. And I always think of these as the rooms of my home. Now, here's the thing that I want to make this even more practical, and I want to go back and relate this to the whole purpose of this channel and my mission with this brand. So let's go back here. And I use ChatGPT to basically ask it what is a template and to see what it came up with. And here we go. It says a template is basically a pre-made structure you can reuse to save time and keep things consistent. Think of a skeleton or a blueprint you can fill in with your own details. That's what a template is. So examples of a template, right? Depending on your context, we have design and documents. So tools like Canva, Word, or Google Docs are templates. We have websites and software, right? Starter code or layouts. We have businesses and processes, standardized frameworks like budgets in Excel, some type of meeting agenda doc. And then we have creative workflows, checklists, scripts, repeatable formats. At the end of the day, a template is a shortcut to consistency and speed. And this is the reason why I named this platform Iconic Templates. It wasn't just supposed to be a catchy name that came from the agency. It was supposed to be, and still is, a template for you all. And the reason why is because I see myself as a template for some people that are looking to become an entrepreneur, that are looking to run a business, even start their business first and then begin to run their business. A template doesn't mean it's the end. No, the end is your journey. The end is how you make it. And template is just a shortcut. And I think that influencers, gurus, instructors, teachers, people in positions that show you and can share with you and can show you the receipts that they have the experience, they have the knowledge, and it's not just all theory or theoretical, and it's not just their education. I'm putting bunny ears with that, right? Because they've been in the real world, they got real world experience, and they have results. They have a template. Now it's up to you whether you follow that template, but they have a template, okay? So that is important to know when it comes to creating your business model. And you can use a tool like the business model canvas in order to do so. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do you one better because I like being transparent. I'm comfortable where I am in my life, and I'm comfortable where I am mentally. And I know it takes a while. Let me actually, let's get straight up right here. I want to make sure you see my eyes when I say this, that I'm comfortable. And it's okay if you're not comfortable. It's okay if you're still living in a situation of, less or the unfortunate or the misfortunate, right? Or you have an unfortunate situation. It's okay if you are still going through imposter syndrome. I've been there. I've done that. I've got the t-shirt, right? It's okay. But the more you get comfortable with your life and where you are, you're going to be way more ready. You're going to be way more confident to start mapping out your business idea or to start refining your business idea if that is the area in your life where you are now. Maybe you are creating it from scratch. Maybe you're refining something that has already been in the making, and now you have more data points because you have the experience to say, this is what works, this doesn't work. That's why a business model is very important. And that's the reason why I wanted to make this video before I made any more videos, because everything must come back to the core, to the origins, like X-Men, to the beginnings, like Exodus. Okay, we have to go back to the core, and you have to be willing to update this over time. So with that being said, I'm going to show you Iconic Templates template. Say that 3 times fast, which is the business model canvas that I made in 2022. You can see the date here, 2022. And you can see here, I have things like the key partners filled out. Now, at this time, the key partners that I had were my own other business endeavors, right? That were the key partners, because Iconic Templates is a subsidiary of the agency, my agency, The Iconic Expressions. It was my way of being able to compartmentalize and separate the agency from the education. And sometimes you all need to think, maybe you're doing too much in your business where you're not looking at the fact that some people want it done for them and some people want to do it themselves, or they want it done with them. Those are 2 different business models that I want you all to understand. And so I'm not going to go over every single, line item on this business model canvas, but I do want you to see, you can take a snapshot, you can pause the video, that I'm putting my money where my mouth is, right? I eat my own dog food. I drink my own Kool-Aid. And you can see I have key activities filled out. Now, the key activities, I separated the production from the problem-solving based activities. I have key resources filled out right here. These are all the things my business needs in order to proceed. We have the cost structure here. What are the costs? What's coming out of the business? What are our expenses? What is the value propositions, right? What are our offerings? What makes us special? What makes us different? What makes us unique that people want? Because we're not reinventing the wheel. We just putting our own sauce on it. You feel me? We have the revenue streams. What are the things that we are selling or even giving away for the sale? We have our customer relations, right? How do we want to interact with our people? How do we want our people to interact with us? We have our channels. Where are we interacting with our people, right? Is it things that we own ourselves, or is it things that we have to use that are from others, right? And then we have the people. And this is some of the most important parts of your business model canvas or your business model. Who are the people you are delivering your messaging to? Who are the people that are meant for your products and your services? Who are the people that are like-minded to where the business, if it was a person, if the business was a person, who are the people that have the same mentality or a like-minded mentality? That is your customer segments. And the reason why I'm okay with sharing this with you is because I have grown. I've grown as a person. And when you grow as a person and you're a business owner or you're a founder, naturally, and maybe sometimes not so naturally. So let me not just say naturally like it's the one size fits all. But I can tell you, for a lot of people, naturally, if you grow as a person, your business will soon follow suit. And that's why it's important to have things mapped out on a document, so that way you can see the history. You can see where you came from. I started this business model in July of 2022. And then August of 2023, that was the last time that I worked on this business model in this format, because I changed the format up. but you can see that there's a difference, right? You can see the changes over time. You all need to be able to do that with your business. And it's crazy because now that we have AI and all this technology, it makes it more easier than ever to be able to see the changes over time. But regardless, you have to be able to do that with your business and see what worked and what did not work. That's how you end up with your most recent version of your business model. And this is why I thought it was very important to show you all, because if it wasn't for me starting from scratch, right, to be able to start somewhere, I would not be able to have where we are today. And we're still growing. You should always be learning. You should always be listening to people, listening to the market, listening to your customers or your subscribers. And I am proud to say that even though this is still not a complete, this is not a complete development. This is still in development, right? This is not a complete document, but it is the best iteration or version that I've ever had when it comes to clarifying what this brand is and what this brand or business is not, because I went through a trial and error phase, okay? That's important for you to know. And so in seeing this, it made it way easier for me to be able to document this and map this out coming from this, because I did this more or less from scratch, right? And I didn't do this with the help of AI the way that I have AI now. ChatGPT, Perplexity, Gemini, Claude, Grok, so forth and so on. They weren't as we'll say, structured. Some of them weren't even in existence at the time. You know, they weren't where they are now. And I guarantee you they had a business model that evolved over time as well. But we see a product. They started off with a business model. And in this situation, I was able to utilize ChatGPT and take all the information that I had built over time, all of our assets, the business model, the iterations, and say, hey, help me make a more modern and updated business model so I don't have to do it from scratch, because you have all the source material, and then I can update what I believe is wrong from the draft you give me. And this is what you see right now. And for it started off with the positioning and mission and offer ladder, but that's not important, right? What's important is going to the business model, which is the value proposition. And this is important for you all to understand from a standpoint of what you probably should do with your business, but I'm being transparent and real. This is a hard founder, business owner decision I had to make in the direction of the future, even though some people may be disappointed, some people may not like it. But I had to go with what the market was telling me. And the market was saying, you need to be able to incorporating AI systems. That has to be incorporated. And that's mainly because there is not an app that I'm using that has not integrated AI. I don't use a single tool that in some way has not brought in AI natively in their system, let alone I'm using AI to help manage my systems, which are two different things. So of course it would make sense for us to evolve into a AI first or AI incorporated or integrated platform. That's a big part of our value proposition. And then another big thing was when I first started off the brand and our products, there were so many moving parts. I had to dumb it down. You only know to dumb it down if you actually got somewhere, right? And sometimes we think we're smarter than what we are. And that's not a bad thing. It's just we have to realize that there are people that don't understand what we know. And sometimes you got to bring it down. You have to, I don't want to call anybody dumb, but you have to bring it down to a level that people can understand and maybe that they need, okay? That's another key thing. And then for the more advanced people, you got something for them, right? Then the difference between education and execution. I had to understand, more importantly, that I just don't want to educate and people just don't want to be educated. We have to challenge ourselves. We have to call ourselves to action. That is where the execution part comes in, y'all. We got to educate to execute, right? And then the representation, accessibility, I had to really remap what that meant for this brand and for my personal values and my views in the world. It has nothing to do with the political climate or the religious climate or the economic climate, I guess. It's just what I value when I viewed in the world and how I want to be able to take action on this mission, right? Some people are going to feel alienated. Some people are going to feel ostracized. I don't want to do that on purpose to hurt anybody's feelings, but I do know that I'm not a one size fits all. This brand is not a one size fits all. You're not a one size fits all. So who do you fit for? So I had to really think about what inclusive means to me versus what it may mean to you or what it may mean to the general public. And for us, it was more about techies and non-techies, right? Without necessarily dumbing it down, right? Dumbing it down, because it's a two-part fold. Without dumbing things down to make people feel like dummies, that's the key. Without dumbing it down to make people feel like dummies, but watering it down or bringing it down to a level to where it's not overly complex all at one time. That's something that I think a lot of you all aren't thinking about sometimes when you're looking at your business. So let's move on. I won't go in too deep onto the rest of these sections, but I'm hoping this is giving someone some ideas and value because this is not where this was before. Hold up. If you're getting value out this video, please give a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. And if you got something to say, throw it in the comments. All right, now let's get back into it. If you take a snapshot of this, there are some things that transferred over, but there are some things that I had to change because that's not what the market was telling me. That wasn't where the market was going. And so understanding who my primary segments are, who our secondary, who our territory segments are, channels were very, very much similar to our past channels. Customer relationships are very similar, but some things change. But more importantly, the revenue streams. I had to rethink what our revenue streams are, what our offerings are. Cost structure is very similar. Key partners is very similar as well too. Now this I haven't updated yet. I purposely wanted to keep it exactly how ChatGPT gave it to me because I want to let you know this is a great starting point. This right here, I never had this back here. When I first did my business model for this particular brand, I never ever had the same tools, at my call and Becky. I didn't have that. Now there's no excuse, y'all. Ain't no excuse. So I just wanted you to see this is beautiful to have when you map things out with your business model. It can really take your business to the next level. This is your guiding compass. I told you, it's your floor plan. It's your blueprint. And then after you do your business model, you're able to create, I would say, a more evolved, a more detailed value proposition. And that's why they call it a value proposition canvas. So first you start off with your business model, and then in your business model, you'll have your section called the value proposition. You take that value proposition and you, as the big kids say, right? The smart people say, you extrapolate on that. Hopefully I said it correctly. You extrapolate on that value proposition and you create a value proposition canvas. The jobs to be done, their pains, their gains, right? What are your products and services? And the pain relievers and the gain creators. This is the value proposition canvas. And then you have your personas, right? This is looking at the customer segments. Remember we had customer segments on the business model canvas? Well, you break that down even further. Or as, what do they say? We got to unpack that. They say unpack that. You unpack that and you break it down even further. And I had to learn, this is my primary target demographic. It does not mean we aren't helping people that are getting started, which we call the emerging creator. That is more secondary territory. It doesn't mean that we're not helping small business owners. You may be a small business owner and you can learn from everything or from a lot of things or from some things. How do you see your business? How do you extrapolate? I'm going to use that word. You know what I'm saying? That's my word of the day. It's kind of like T.I. with expeditiously. Expeditiously. But how do you break down your different personas when it comes to your demographics? And can you say rightfully so, this is our target? Or are you still saying, man, we serve everybody. Everybody can be served by my business. Everybody's my customer. Everybody's my customer. Everybody's my service. Go ahead and keep thinking like that and watch where you go. And this is something that I thought was very important to share with you all and break this down and be transparent with you all. Because I don't think that most people that are instructors, teachers, that are educators, that are small business owners and founders, they're not sharing with you their business model. They're so afraid you're going to steal their business model. And that's okay. I understand. But here's the thing. I believe I can create faster than you can copy. And here's another thing. Most people, I'm not even gonna say you all, I'm gonna say most people, because you watching this, in my opinion, you're already in a different direction than most people. You're already on another step than most people, right? So I'm not gonna say most of you all, but most people, they get stuck in this phase, the education phase. They get stuck right there. They don't execute. Most people do not execute, and that is a dangerous place to be. In my opinion, it's a waste of time. If you're gonna soak up all this information, you got all these degrees, and you can't get a job. You got all those degrees, like Kanye West, college dropout, and you can't get a job. Come on now, like we got to do something about that. But let's take it even further back, because I want to let you all know I practice what I preach. I drink the Kool-Aid. What do I mean by that? I told you I started off with creating a business model on a canvas like so. And I showed you that we have history here. Now, I know on this channel, we have poquito history. Not so much, a little bit of history, right? Now, you may be watching this, we got a lot of history. I don't know what time or what year you're watching this in, but we got a little bit of history. But when it comes to my agency, there's a difference between the brand and the agency. My agency has history. What do I mean by that? If I click this button here, you can see all the way through June 2024, right? This is June 24 of this particular business model right here. That's history in the sense of I updated. Let me show you what I mean. As you can see, this is a different business model. This is for the agency. This is the business model that I first started off with when I begun to understand why a business model was important. Now, I didn't start a business model at the beginning of my agency, but a few years in, I understood why I needed one, and it was because I ran into a problem. And you can see right here, this business model goes all the way back to 2019. For real, for real. Look at how far back this goes. How far back does your business model go, right? I started the Iconic Expressions in 2015. It took me a few years. That's why I said it took me a few years, right, to begin a business model. Ironically, I started in October. That's when we started the business, October of 2015. And I started the business model in October of 2019. 4 years later. It took me 4 years to understand the business model, or to understand why I needed one, and to actually do it. It's one thing understanding it, it's another thing doing it. And you can see this right here is totally different than where we ended up, okay? Totally different than where we ended up. And you can see all the way from there to now that some things have changed, but some things have not changed, right? And the only reason why I'm able to be able to share this with you and show this with you is because I've grown. Going back to what I said, when you grow, your business should grow. And you need to be able to show this to not just yourself, but to your audience, as transparent as you're willing to be. You don't got to tell them everything. They don't have to see everything. And you have to be comfortable with people seeing things and judging you for that. That's the price of doing business, let alone the price of evolving and even becoming a template for others, becoming an influencer. So yeah, that's something that I wanted to share with you. I thought that was key, is that the business model is a powerful weapon. It's a powerful tool. The reason why I call it a weapon is because when you at war in the market, right? The business market, and you're at war, typically you're at war with yourself, right? Because we're in our own way. But when you are in the business market and you have competitors, your best weapon, in my opinion, is the core source, your source of truth, your business model. It can do so many things for you that it could be a bazooka, or it could be a little BB. It can do so much for you when you have a business model. But let's get some ChatGPT in here real quick, because I think it's important for us to be able to not only hear it from our perspective, let's hear it from the AI's perspective. I like to do this on the fly because you already know how we go around here with Iconic templates. We just give you the heat with a little bit of juice sauce on top. All right, let's bring some ChatGPT in here. What up, chat?
Hey, what's up? Glad to have you dropping in. We'll keep it real and tossing a bit of humor along the way, just like you asked. So let's roll with it.
Yeah. So let's talk about. I'm talking to the audience real quick, and I'm talking about the business model and utilizing the business model canvas. I'm curious on your thoughts. What do you think in terms of the business model or the business model canvas being a template in some sort of way? What do you think about that?
Absolutely. Let's dive in. So, if we're telling it like it is, the business model canvas is basically the ultimate business simple with a capital T. It's like the Swiss Army knife of business planning. You've got all your key building blocks, your value propositions, customer segments, revenue streams, and all that laid out in one neat visual sheet. It's a template in the sense that it gives you a structured way to sketch out and test your business ideas without having to start from scratch. So, yeah, I'd say it's a template that lets you plug in your specifics and visualize your whole business model in a forward thinking, flexible way. And if we're throwing in a bit of clever humor, it's kind of like the IKEA manual for your business, except hopefully with fewer leftover screws and less hair scratching.
Oh, you got jokes now, huh? You think you funny?
Oh, absolutely. I'm just here to keep things a little lively. After all, a bit of humor makes even business talk a lot more entertaining. So, yeah, we'll mix the insights with a laugh or two. No extra charge for the hobby.
All right, all right. I'm gonna give you a rim shot for that.
Hey, hey, I'll take the rim shot and run with it. We'll keep the good vibes rolling and the real talk coming. If you ever need a bit of a laugh along with the straight up answers, you know I'm here for it.
I appreciate you. All right, peace. So there you go. I just wanted you all to hear it from ChatGPT, hear it from me. I mean, we can hear it from Gemini. We can go all the way down the yellow brick road like this is Dorothy and Toto. You know what I'm saying? And we looking for the wizard. No eyes. But the whole point was you all need to have a business model. You need to understand your business model. You can use the business model canvas, or you can just write your business model on a Google Doc, a Word doc, notes, whatever you want to write it on. It doesn't matter. And use AI to help you with this business model. Don't do it by yourself. Use somebody in your network that can give you some feedback. Sometimes AI is not enough. This is where specialists and consultants come in because they can take your idea and what you get from AI to the next level. But if you don't have that ability to do so, man, there's no excuse. Use AI to help you map out your business model, and then use the business model to then map out your branding, to then map out your marketing strategy, to then map out your website strategy. That's why this is so important, because I can talk about branding, websites, and marketing and digital systems all day. But if you don't have a source of truth or some type of guiding compass, we just going in circles, y'all. And we got somewhere we gotta be. At least I know I'm headed somewhere. So yeah, I think the business model is very important for you all to have and understand. Put that in your toolkit. It is your weapon. It is your tool. It is your asset, right? And if you are in business, you are in competition. And competition is hotter than ever. It's harder than ever. It's more than ever because anybody can get in these days, especially with AI. However, most people won't last. Why? Because they don't know their model. They don't know their business. They don't have a source of truth. They keep changing things everywhere along the way without going back to the source of truth and updating that and saying, is this what we are? Is this what we're not? And then they're all over the place. And that's no bueno. It's no good for nobody. Nobody, especially people trying to help you out. People trying to help you out, they be like, what's your business? I don't know. Man, look, you'll have to figure out what your business is and come back. That's how I am when it comes to people. You'll have to figure something out. Or I can help you figure it out. But if we're gonna do one-to-one, I ain't doing it for free. You feel me? That is what it is. It is what it is. You know, everything that is good for you is not gonna be easy. Some of the best things in life take some time. That's it. I just wanted to share with you all that whole point of, the business model canvas, and it's a blueprint. It is a floor plan to your house. Let me hear it in the comments. Let me know what y'all think. My name is Maestro Stevens with Iconic Templates, and I'm out. Peace.